Hello everybody, my name is Zertuku and welcome back to another ShoeOnHead video. I believe that, this is the... Wait, what? No. Hang on guys, give me a sec. Never mind, I think that was correct. It's the male loser epidemic. But I think I might call it something else, and I don't normally... Did I press play on my recording? Yes, I did. Alright guys, I wasn't planning on doing another ShoeOnHead video, but I decided, well, I'm not really in the mood to do any more live streams for my Let's Plays because I've just been very angry lately, and I figured that, hey, this would be a good time for me to do a reaction video because I am not my normal self today. Today I'm unnormally very angry for no reason whatsoever, and I don't know why, so you know what? Why not? And eventually I am going to stop doing these ShoeOnHead reactions because I really don't like doing them, to be honest. I'm just, taking somebody, I'm just using somebody else's video. This YouTube channel was really meant for just for my books, but it turned into a reaction YouTube channel. I guess there's just some things we can't fully control, I guess. But whatever, let's just get into the video.
Hello again, friends. Sorry I've been gone for quite a bit. Hopefully nothing too crazy happened. I feel like every time I take a break, like, a war breaks out or something.
I don't know when this video was done.
Thankfully that did not happen. But at least we found out the real Epstein files with the friends we made along the way. Welcome back to the ShoeOnHead channel.
Yeah,
if it is your first time here, run. I am ShoeOnHead, and on this channel I like to cover cultural issues, mostly surrounding men's issues.
I guess we could talk about the Epstein files, but honestly, it is a really stupid subject, so I'm not going to talk about it. However, if you guys want to talk to me about it down in the comments below, I guess that's fine, but honestly, it is a really stupid thing, and I'd rather not talk about it.
It's what I've been doing for over a decade, and frankly, I'm exhausted. Many of you have been along for the ride, and you have seen me go from a chipper, lively 24-year-old making fun of BuzzFeed and Tumblr feminists to a bitter, calloused 34-year-old talking about very real and growing men's issues. One of the main men's issues
She didn't age much. The only real difference is that she tanned a lot more. She still looks cute. Smash.
Have been covering in great detail lately has been the male loneliness epidemic.
Yes.
Yeah, but turns out I was wrong. We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic.
I beg thou pardon?
It's not a male loneliness epidemic. No, it's a male mediocrity epidemic. It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so bad that it's honestly so pathetic at this point.
Okay, I have a question. Why are all these hot women why do they all hate men so much? Do they just have, like, bad experience with men? Well, if they actually started, like, dating more nerdier men, they wouldn't have this problem. But they always have to go for the strong, muscular types, and those guys, they're not very kind to their women. At least most of them anyways. But one thing I noticed is some of the more average nerdy men, they're usually, they're a little more nicer than some of the, rich, powerful men. Those guys are all dicks. Evil dicks.
Now, I don't always talk about men's issues. No,
Greedy
sometimes
bastards.
I talk about politics, and sometimes I mix the two together. Now, I know a lot of you don't like politics. You don't care about politics. But politics cares about you, and it will enter your life no matter how hard you try to avoid it. But thankfully, I have the perfect app to help you navigate this difficult, confusing political landscape. So let's quickly now, and it helps us approach the news in a more fair and balanced way. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right?
Back
now,
off.
Let's get back to the video. With all these issues men are facing, they seem to be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die movement. Months ago, I covered how the Democratic Party...
Yeah, and That's the thing I did not like about Kamala Harris, is that's basically what they were doing, is the young men eat and die movement bullshit. Yeah.
Was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump, and I was correct. Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic.
Really?
Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class. Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their efforts, with donors and strategists holing up in luxury hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men.
That doesn't sound like they're trying to help us. It just sounds like they're using it as an excuse to go to a vacation.
To return to the party. Ah yes, nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys. The plan? Codename SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, promises to use the funds to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games among
No, not the right tool for the job. All right, listen. This is why. Honestly, I feel like us men need to give up on politics in terms of, hoping that someone would actually help us with our loneliness issues and our problems. But it looks like the government isn't going to help us. The only way that we're going to help ourselves is if we gather together and come up with an idea and how to solve our own issues, because it's very clear that the government isn't going to help us.
Other things. The Democratic Party is treating young men like exotic animals they're studying. Now, as you can see here is the young man in his natural habitat.
Who the fuck is that guy? He looks so familiar. I think I know who that is. I don't know who that is, but I know I've seen him before. I think I remember him doing like some reactions for like Florida stuff. I don't know who he is.
A dark, messy cave surrounded by Taco Bell wrappers and empty Mountain Dew bottles. Here is another young man, as you can see, also dwelling.
Is that Jacksepticeye? No, I don't think that is. I think that's somebody else.
In a dark cave. This one has dyed his hair blue to scare off potential predators. Unfortunately, it also scares off potential mates. But moving on, here is another young man. We think we're not quite sure about this one. We're still studying it. Listen, Democrats, instead of spending 20.
Yeah, I get the feeling that a lot of the people working at the presidents, Democrats, or whatever the hell you want to call them, I bet you none of them has ever seen a VTuber before, so.
$1 million to do that stupid. Maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here. ShoeOnHead is a perfect example of why we need to repeal the 19th.
Yeah, you know what, he's right.
Greetings from Albania. I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh, shoo, mommy, milkies.
Gooner. Sometimes I will say smash to Shoe, but I don't have this kind of behavior. This almost feels like Gooner PC behavior, like a mixture between PC and Gooner behavior. It's like a computer program with the information of like Pornhub.
Mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle. Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
Since Trump scored big with young male voters last election,
who is this
Democrats are spending $20 million to learn how to speak.
Every time when I watch ShoeOnHead, she always brings up this old hag. I don't even know who this old bitch is, but every time she talks, it sounds retarded.
their language. I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's
But the stats.
I beg thou pardon. No, listen now. I think a little bit of sexist comes from both ends, for both men and women. But honestly, I feel like men wouldn't have such a hard time with women if women would actually start acting a little more nicer, but whatever.
Don't bear that
I
out now.
Yeah, that's my...
Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
First of all, the reason why we live in mama's basements, quote unquote, the reason why we stay inside a lot is because, well, there's nothing really out there. Everything outside is too expensive nowadays, and the outside world isn't the same as it used to be. And one thing I can tell you right now, even when I was younger, there wasn't really a whole lot out there to really do. And it's better to stay inside and play video games online with people. But yet again, like I said in my men loneliness video I did with Shoe, my issue is men are ghosting each other, and I don't know why. But anyways, back to the video.
Oh no. The very night I was sitting on my couch writing the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men, this came on my TV on...
It's almost as if something is telling you, their Shoe, that this problem is much bigger than you think it is, and perhaps making YouTube videos isn't really going to change anything. Matter of fact, I've seen a few comments asking me what's the point of my videos. Am I doing my reaction videos? Well, it's more of me just giving my opinions. But, you know, sometimes opinions can be helpful because sometimes you can recognize a problem that people are talking about and try to, and actually, you know, when you say something about an issue, okay, sometimes the person who's talking about the problem can't solve it, but who knows, someone who hears the opinion of that problem say, hey, I can fix that problem. You know, you never know. It's a roll of the dice. But I also kind of feel like this is a situation where no one can fix it. I think it is a situation where people need to start working together. At least the people who are dealing with these problems should work together and try to fix these issues, but, you know, I digress.
Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment about stay-at-home sons, men who still live at home. Literally minutes after this aired, it went absolutely...
It's not just men, it's also certain women are staying at home too, like, well, certain ones anyway. I mean, like some of the girl bosses or some of the women who just got really lucky with the, you know, job applications. Well, maybe it's not necessarily luck, but, you know, women are apparently doing very well in college, apparently, which I did not know was a thing. But apparently, yeah, there's a lot of women who are getting a lot of jobs, and those are the ones who are not, you know, staying home. But there is a small minority of, which is called the nerdy women. Those are the ones who just do stay home because they don't, you know, they're not able to get, you know, college degrees or whatever. And I think most of those might be VTubers, maybe, I don't know.
Viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down exactly why she was so egregiously wrong. So come join me in debunking the male loser epidemic. Because who else better equipped to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos? Hold on one second. 3.
Okay, first of all, you really gonna do this? Well, I should have known, because it's part of Shoe that she likes to make herself just as cringe as the people she reviews. But also, second of all, Damn, she actually looks pretty good blonde.
Stupid blonde bimbos. Sorry. I felt left out. Alright, let's go. Wait. I need my gamer fuel.
I hate Monster. It tastes
See?
nasty.
I do drink it. That one's for you, Tectone.
It's a major problem. And you know, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. But Laura, I gotta tell you.
Hey. Now listen now. Cute and adorable is a good thing. I mean, like, whether if you're a man or a woman, thinking the other person is adorable is a good thing. I mean, isn't that part of attractiveness? Actually, you know what, guys? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Let's just get back to the video.
This is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. You know that?
That is not what's going on. The reason why we have declining birth rates is because the amount of money it takes to have a child is a lot. But honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't think you can really control, getting a woman pregnant. I mean, like, even if you use condoms or birth control, the chances of accidentally making a woman pregnant is it's 50-50.
That's a big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have...
The pickings are only slim for the hot women who are going after the hot guys. I'm sorry to tell you this, but not everybody's hot.
Have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates and a lot of other problems in society. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air, meet people in real life.
There's been a few times where I have posted a few things on Facebook, and people tell me to go outside and touch grass or whatever, and I've been outside one time because I went to like a birthday party, and they asked me, "Oh, did that make you feel better?" And I kind of did lie, say that it kind of did. Well, it did to a certain extent, maybe feel somewhat good to be outside, just because it was a nice day, but it didn't help my depression at all. If anything, it had literally just no effect whatsoever.
Let's just get back to basics.
So first of all, this stay-at-home son thing.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is whether you're outside or indoors, it won't make a difference for like things like depression or like it won't make a difference. Honestly, being able to communicate with people online is good enough. As long as with a group of people, whether it's online or outside, it doesn't matter. It will be fine. But of course, people always have to say, "Oh, just go outside, touch grass." I think it's such a stupid thing when people say that.
Is not a real thing. It was a random throwaway, self-deprecating joke some contestant on Jeopardy said. One f***ing guy. Because I guess there's nothing else important going on that they could cover on the news. They literally made this into a fake phenomena so they can on young men. Meanwhile, Democrats are spending millions of dollars trying to win back young men. Oh no, the young men are leaving us in droves. How do we get them back?
Yeah, they're not going to be like that, I don't think. Unless they're... I don't know. I feel like a lot of the boss women won't give a damn that the men are just leaving them. I don't know.
Don't worry. I got this. Hey, you fat, lazy, Cheeto dust-covered slobs. F*** you. Nice. Thanks.
Yeah,
I love you. I love you too.
That doesn't really help anything. Oh my god, Shoo, what the hell?
Is the amount
This is
of young
YouTube.
men living home with their parents increasing? Yes. Is it because they're lazy bums and just want to order DoorDash all day? No. And also, they're not paying for DoorDash, Tommy. They're financing it.
Really?
Come on.
Is that really
Get
a
with the
thing?
times.
There are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air.
Have either of you tried applying for a job as a young man recently? Or tried buying a house on the salary of one of these young men?
Yeah.
Have you experienced the dating market?
Yeah, it's all bad. And the dating market is way worse.
Been on the dating sites as a young man? No? Interesting, okay. Just wondering. Listen, I know the average age of a Fox News viewer is like 70 nowadays and you need to pander to them, but Tommy, you are like 2 years younger than me. You know this shit isn't true. Why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like a f***ing boomer? I'm sorry, I have no other word for this, but I hate this like a...
Yeah, well, it's a thing that I do not understand. Even if someone is not a boomer, they still act like one. Like, even as someone who's like Gen Z or whatever, they still act like a boomer, and I'm not exactly sure why. Actually, you know what? Culture. Bad culture. That's what it is.
generational pick-me shit. I was born in the wrong generation. I'm not like those other young people. And you know what? She's not like those other young people. Not all young people can afford a nice nose job and lip filler and get a cushy job on Fox News based entirely on merit, I'm sure. The main problem with this brain-dead boomer-ass take is not only is it cringe, but it's completely divorced from reality.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, there's a lot of there's some rumors that I'm hearing that people are getting jobs just based on, you know, their race and gender and stuff, and yeah, that's not a good thing. It should be more based on your skills, but you know, whatever.
This slop is specifically designed for people who paid like $5 for a f***ing house. And listen, not all boomers, okay? My parents are boomers, they are lovely people. A lot of you guys are boomers, but when the baby boomer generation sends its people, it is not sending their best. They are not sending you. They're sending people who have lots of problems. They're bringing the housing crisis. They're bringing wage stagnation. They're falling for AI-generated photos on Facebook. But some, I assume,
A lot of people
are
are.
good people. But my God, I truly believe they do not understand how good they had it. They
Yeah.
could support a family on a single income.
We need to bring some of that back. You know, that's the issue, is that a lot of people, especially, you know, I think even some presidents say that they want to make America good again, and when they say that, they're talking about the boomer generation, because back in those days, it was so much easier for people, apparently. Now, I say the word apparently because I'm not a boomer. I'm not born in that generation. But I do remember that there was a lot of people getting easy jobs back in like the early 2000s. Actually, you know what? Somewhere between I think it was 2005 and 6, there was a lot of like people talking about having issues with having jobs. People were getting laid off. People were losing their jobs, and it was getting. It's been getting worse as time went on, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, and even to this day, and I'm talking way back in 2005, but even from then to now, it has gotten so much worse, and this is why everybody is like so miserable, and why people are so part of the reason why people are so lonely, and this is why people are talking about, you know, want a president that helps things change. This is why we voted for Donald Trump, but Donald Trump did not keep his end of the bargain. Of course not, because we kind of knew he wasn't going to. But to be fair, Kamala Harris not only would not have kept her, wouldn't have done anything to help the men generation, she would have like destroyed the society that we have, and would have put us in an extinction level event. And it's possible that Donald Trump might do it, but he probably might wind up doing it in a completely different way that we're probably not expecting. But we do need to find a way to change our culture and change our society. Actually, fuck that. What we need to do is we gotta burn down our culture. We need to destroy all our laws that we have now, and we build it from the ground up. That's basically what we need to do. But how to do it and how to get it all together, I have no fucking idea. I don't have that power, and the thing is, I don't think no one really does. But like I said, if all these lonely men that are out there who are having these problems actually got together and actually did some stuff, maybe something might change. Maybe it won't solve the problems, but we could probably do something that could potentially make it better. I don't. But the problem is too much ghosting. Back to the video.
Income from a job that didn't require a college degree. Their leaders didn't prostitute away their economic future for some cheap plastic shit.
Weirdly enough, I do remember a time when people could get, the dream job that they have just based on, like, very, like, all they have to do was like serve McDonald's for like a couple of years, and then after that they could do their dream jobs. But that doesn't happen nowadays. People get stuck doing McDonald's work for like their entire lives, and that's kind of bullshit. I think now, if you guys ever watched the Amazing Digital Circus, that's pretty much what Gangle's episode is all about, and I have to say that is a nice piece of artwork. All right, now that I'm bringing up a completely different YouTube video, it goes to show I'm off the rails, so that means we need to get back to the video.
From China. They inherited the greatest economy known to man, and they pretend it's a paradise that they earned. I just don't understand, like, why don't boomers and spiritual boomers like Tommy Lauren see people struggling and go, wow, I wish I could fix this. They should have it better than I had it.
Yeah, really? What? Why? Shu brings up a good point here, because you see people suffering, but instead of like saying, oh, I wish I could help these people, instead we're getting like this toxic hate. It's really weird, and it doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever, where it's like it's more of like they see us suffering and they just want us to cause more suffering. Why?
You wonder why so many millennials and Zoomers don't want kids. I want to make the world a better place for my children. I want to make the world a better place for my children. Ugh. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you spoiled brat. Children. Not happening.
Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Young men are becoming lazy because they're becoming feminized. So they're becoming lazy because they act more like women? What did she mean by this, chat? I know.
What the hell? I have no idea. That makes zero sense. I have no idea what. I get the feeling that whoever this Tommy Lauren is has no idea what she's talking about.
There's like a decrease in testosterone or something happening, but men are moving right-wing all over the world. Does that correlate with the feminization? Or, I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so maybe. But here's the thing, Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. None. In fact, all the data says the exact opposite.
Oh, really?
According to Pew Research, 64% of women younger than 50 say they just don't want to have children. No reason, they just don't want them. Versus 50% of men who say the same. Another study by Archbridge Institute shows the same. 63% of women without children said they have no desire to have a child, while only 50% of men said the same. For men, the most commonly cited factor was personal finance. But among women, the strongest reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence. Basically, they don't want to give up their brunch and mimosas. They've been ass-blasted with propaganda their whole lives, telling them their lives will be ruined, their bodies will be ruined, they'll never have fun again.
I said it once and I'm going to say it again. Culture. It's a problem.
And they'll be miserable forever if they have children. And as someone who has had a children, best decision I've ever made. 10/10, highly recommend.
Good on you, Shu.
Would do it again. But yes, this idea that men are the ones primarily responsible for the low birth rates is laughable. We're laughing over here. But honestly, it's not really women or men's fault. There are a lot of factors that play into this. But Tommy, I really gotta ask.
There
Is it men or is it you?
This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think, it might not be us. It might be you. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville.
Have you ever considered that maybe the reason why you have such a hard time with men that you guys might be all evil bitches? There might be something wrong with you guys? No? Too much pride? Whatever then.
Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
My friends are successful. Men don't give a shit about that. They'd marry a Walmart cashier if she was nice to them.
That's
I
kind
think
of true.
men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage, are usually not ready to be husbands and fathers.
That's a cultural issue. So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your point, I think it's a biological thing.
I beg to
let me get this
differ.
straight.
Whoa. Hang on, Shu. I know you want to say your piece, but let me say my piece here. Let me get this straight. All men are bad because we're just men? I beg thou pardon? Excuse me? Princess bitch? I hate toxic women.
Men are all trash and won't commit and won't leave mommy's basement, and they're destroying the birth rates. But also, young men are biologically incapable of commitment and being parents. What? But wait, there's more! She also believes women don't have to bring anything to the table.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family.
Well, to tell you the truth, not all men are protectors or are not really good at being protectors. You know, it can work the other way around, but honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't think that's necessary to have a protector and a provider. Honestly, it'd be better just to have, like, mutual understanding between each other. That would be a lot better.
Make money, but I don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector.
I beg thou pardon, really? So if a guy works really hard to get your attention, you're not gonna give them anything for all their hard work? This bitch needs to die.
And a provider. If you think you need to
nothing.
get
So
something
you
out
got
of
nothing.
it, I quite frankly don't consider you a
nothing.
real
What the fuck is with this guy? What is with this dude in the mirror? He looks like he's about to crack laughing. You know what's interesting though, and this is the one thing I don't like about men culture, and even I do this sometimes as a man, is that when a woman, it doesn't matter if it's a woman, but if someone's saying things that making you angry, there's this common culture like thought of not saying anything, and I feel like that's a thing that constantly backfires all the time. And I feel like this is one of those situations where someone should tell her right off the bat that what she's saying is outrageously wrong and completely mean and cruel.
man.
Never before in history have women demanded so much and offered so little. So before we get deeper into this retarded, manufactured, stay-at-home son narrative, let's check the Facebook comments of this Fox News video, because I am really interested to see what, like, the typical Fox News viewer thinks about this. If the women are anything like these two, I can hardly blame the men for staying home and not wanting to date them. Blame
Emotional damage. Yeah.
Blame. These two women have a combined age of 93 and they have 0 children between both
Emotional damage.
of them. You both have repugnant personality types, so listening to this was like male birth control to me.
Male birth control. Jesus H. Christ. The emotional damage is pretty brutal. It's almost hitting like brutal doom levels of just wow.
me. My goodness! Boomers are ruthless! Bunch of sissies. I served 6 years, 2 years in Southeast Asia after Vietnam was over. When I was 18, rent was $450 and I could afford to get
I hate to tell you, but those times don't exist anymore.
my own place. She's so spot on. Nothing screams I'm a loser run from me than a guy living at home in his parents' house with...
There's nothing wrong with staying in your... Like, listen, if you don't know what it is you want, like, I can understand. Like, the reason why I left my parents' house and tried to push my way out of the nest, well, actually, I had two reasons for it, but one of them I'm going to keep to myself because that's a personal issue. I pushed myself out because I had a dream to be a writer. But because that my dreams have basically failed and I'm constantly dealing with a whole other issue, I'm constantly questioning, should I have pushed myself out of the nest? Because it's very clear that, you know, I went on a blind path only to cause myself pain and suffering. So, I don't know. I feel like my decisions were not good decisions. So, maybe I should have just stayed home, be a stay-at-home son, honestly.
This 12-year-old boy's bedroom decor at age of 30. Thank God we raised our sons to be men, who grew up, lived on their own, found their...
I don't know who this person is, but they are complete evil assholes. So, I'm going to take everything they say with a grain of salt.
soulmate, got married, bought a beautiful home, and started a family. I was out the door at 18, worked on the assembly line at Dodge and in the Air Force at 19, never went back home. I can't relate to this. Yes, we know you people can't relate. We know. But the world has changed. Why can't you people get this through your heads? I will never let my sons stay home. I'm trying to push them out of the nest. Okay, I really gotta ask, is this an
You know, I feel sorry for those people, to be honest.
Anglo thing? Immediately kicking your kid out when they turn 18 years old? My Mediterranean mind cannot comprehend this. And honestly, why the f*** would a man leave home, leave his mother's cooking, for a woman who probably can't cook?
Well, here's the thing, though. This is what I said about I'm okay with the idea of mutual understanding, is that, you know, maybe I can't cook, but, you know, maybe she can cook, who knows. If she can't cook, I can try cooking, but my cooking is not super fantastic. Mostly the things that I know how to cook is like anything that has to do with meat, because, well, actually chicken, because I love cooking chicken. It's fun and it tastes good. So, yeah.
Not me, though. Personally, I can cook amazing homemade meals. I'll have you know I am a great trad wife.
That's another thing that should be mentioned right off the bat, is that you don't necessarily need to know how to cook. You just need to know how to put things in an oven, or you can put those in the microwave too, but honestly they taste kind of rubbery when you put them in the microwave. They taste a lot better when you put them in the oven. And putting them in the oven is actually not that hard. However, dino nuggies are not very tasty. I like popcorn chicken. Popcorn chicken tastes really good, especially the pre-made stuff. There's a Hannaford's brand. I forget the name of it. It's a certain brand of popcorn chicken that is really good. And I will sometimes eat those. I also like pre-made hot wings, because some of the hot wings you can buy in certain stores are really good too.
Bone apple teeth.
Now, unfortunately,
you know, now that I think about it, though, I know some people are not really into spicy foods, so maybe using hot wings is a bad, you know, example for cooking food. But you know what? It doesn't have to be hot wings. There is pre-made barbecue wings, and those taste really good. Another barbecue thing that's pretty good is the boneless barbecue bits. Those are actually delicious, and they're not that bad. Speaking of spicy food, for some reason I get addicted to the spicy chicken bits too, because those are just delicious.
Tommy Lauren wasn't the only one pushing this stupid lazy young men go get a job bullshit. Mike Johnson did it referencing 29-year-old men playing video games all day. Steve Scalise did it with 35-year-old men playing video games all day. And just the other night, I saw this on my TV. Again.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention. The new dream job for young men, stay-at-home son.
I think it's very clear that they're going after the the generation of men who are staying at home, it's very clear that they're attacking, the people that are staying home and stuff. And I don't know why they're doing this, but they really should stop. Those guys did nothing wrong.
It's a phrase that's taken off since 27-year-old Brendan Leo won $59,000 on Jeopardy. And he has a master's degree in political science, but he's unemployed.
Whoa. So there's this guy who's like a master's degree in science, and he won like a bunch of money off of Jeopardy, but he's unemployed. Don't you think that's a sign saying that, maybe, just maybe, that our system that we have and our culture doesn't work anymore? Hello? There's a bell ringing, that fucking dumb head of yours?
Grow up, get a job, get a wife, build a family.
Just get a wife, bro.
Send
Just get
him
a job,
to Jesus.
Get a job? Yeah, just get a job. Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down into a job cannon and fire off into Jobland, where jobs grow on jobbies?
What is this
The term
from?
welfare queen must have fell out of fashion with Republicans, because it seems even they know the approved safe demographic to go after now. Because it's very obvious what demographic they are talking about when they say young men in their basements playing video games. This just get a job lazy attitude is not surprising, but it's especially funny coming from Fox News of all places. Fox News that spends so much time yapping about immigrants taking American jobs. Fox News will talk for years about how Americans are being screwed out of the workforce. But when this issue manifests itself in Gen Z, suddenly it's a moral failure. The fact is, a lot of American jobs held by men are being lost to automation, offshoring, and yes.
Yeah, and I hate to tell people this, but also AI is taking over the automation thing, and it's hurting society a lot. And I'm surprised that the news people did not bring this up with, automation and cheap foreign labor as becoming an issue. Hang on, I need a drink. My throat. Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against people with people coming from other countries. There's nothing against that. Although a lot of people seem to hate that for some reason, and I think it's just because they don't like the fact of other people coming into our country. Well, here is some information that apparently you dumbasses have forgotten. Our country was put together with the idea of America being a sanctuary for people who are getting sick and tired of other countries of not being able to make their own choices. America was founded on the idea of freedom of choice and being able to do your own thing without being scrutinized too much. Yeah, there are certain, basic rules, but this is why I say that if anybody comes into our country, they should be treated like a normal American, to be honest, because that's pretty much because our entire because America was founded with ignorant people coming from other countries, so it really should be a big problem. Although it is kind of an issue when people start taking other people's jobs. But honestly, that's not their fault. What it is they don't ask for a lot of money, and they won't unionize because it's against their culture from another country. And this is when that comes into that situation of people being treated like normal Americans. There needs to be a regulation that should state that people should be paid twice the amount of rent, electricity, and all that other stuff, and it cannot go any lower or higher than that. That's the thing they need to be paid for their jobs, and that's the way it should be. But of course, that's not going to happen because our entire our country has been corrupted by the rich and powerful, and that's the problem.
cheap foreign labor. Companies and billionaires would rather have cheap labor that they can essentially abuse, not pay fair wages to, just good little worker drones who won't unionize, rather than hire American workers for a living wage. The cheaper the labor they hire, the more money they make. I remember when Bernie Sanders called open borders a
something moved my mouse, and I thought it was me, that I probably got my foot tangled up on a cord, but the cord is not beneath my feet, so that was odd.
Brothers conspiracy.
Open borders.
Open borders.
That's a Koch brothers proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But
it
would make a lot of the global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then
What's a Koch brothers conspiracy? Someone explain that to me.
doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Where'd that guy go? A lot of these jobs being taken are jobs traditionally held by men, like construction and factory jobs, manual labor work. But it's not just manual labor jobs, it's also the tech industry and business industry, which are careers also mainly held by men. There are many examples of this, such as Microsoft recently cutting thousands of American workers while requesting 14,000 more H-1B workers this year. Some of those job positions include data scientists, which are 70% men, software developers, which are 80% men, and electronic engineers, which are 90% men, and many more like that. Another example of this was Tesla, where roughly 15,000 American employees were fired in April 2024, and many were replaced with H-1B visa holders.
Wow.
On Twitter, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy tried to chalk this up to these immigrants just simply being the best and the brightest. Yeah, okay. You're paying them less for longer hours and more work, and they're willing to deal with
Liar, pants on fire.
it in order to stay in the country. It's coercive, exploitative, and, dare I say, not very America first. When conservatives confronted Elon Musk for this last year, he told somebody, and I quote, "Take a big step back and yourself in the face. I will go to war."
What the hell is this? The reason I'm an American, along with many several people who build SpaceX, no idea what that word is, and I have no idea what that is, of other companies that made America strong, is because of H1B. Big step back and look you in the face, and okay. I will go to war onto this issue like, oh, okay. Okay. Is this a response right here?
On this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. So when it comes to replacing American workers in manual labor with cheap foreign labor, it's deport. But when it comes to replacing his American workers with cheap foreign labor, it's yourself in the face. Interesting. There's also affirmative action and DEI, which are other things Fox News always pisses and shits about. But suddenly, when the conversation is about Gen Z men, the demographic of people who are victims of these things, suddenly these things just like don't exist anymore. Then it's, oh, young men are all just lazy. They just want to be in their parents' basement.
No, what's really happening is that men are giving up because society has turned to shit. And it's all because of the rich and powerful. You know, there's a lot of movies that have, you know, like the bad guys taking out the rich and powerful. Honestly, I feel like that should be turned around because, honestly, the rich and powerful are causing more problems than solving them. It is a really, it's a problem.
And ordering DoorDash and playing video games. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. I am not beating the allegations with this one.
It's okay,
The
Shue.
brown people are not taking your jobs.
But also chill with
It's
the
not
choking.
their fault. They're just cheaper. Aim upwards. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. It's the women, too. Many of the dying industries are male-dominated, while many of the growing industries are female-dominated, and stigma around these jobs being woman jobs usually stops men from working them.
This is a very strange, like, set of events with, you know, women, you know, getting all these jobs and stuff in college. I wonder what has happened. where women are doing better than men. I don't know exactly what happened. And I guess we could say that, women are just better at certain things. Well, maybe it's because that women can be smarter than men. That can be true. But I really feel like it should be, even, like 50-50, but it's not. So something is not right. I don't know why this has happened. And because I don't know what caused this, I can't think of a solution to solve yet problem.
Women are overwhelmingly entering and excelling in college and the workforce, and they're more flexible about job position and pay, while young men usually hold out for
Wait,
higher...
is that what it is? Is it because that women are going for the, lower jobs? They're not really, trying to go after, a big dream or whatever? Is that what it is? Well, that makes a little bit of sense. Because in that way, people who are in charge of whatever companies can abuse them any way they want.
Paying higher position jobs that will make them the breadwinner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed. Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes. But what's crazy is, women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 22 to 29 earned about $1,000 more annually than men, completely reversing the traditional gender pay gap for this age group. In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis showed that women under 30 out-earned men in many metropolitan areas, with median earnings at or above 100% of men's in cities like New York and Washington, D.C. That may not sound like a lot of money now, but it's a growing trend that has never been seen before. It's so bad that it's really starting to affect the dating world. American women have never been this resigned to staying single. They are responding to major demographic shifts, including huge and growing gender gaps in economic and educational attainment, political affiliation, and beliefs about what family should look like. More women than men are attending college, buying houses, and focusing on their friendships and careers over dating and marriage. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. In 2024, 40% of American women ages 25 to 34 had a bachelor's degree, according to Pew, compared to 37% of men. A bachelor's degree increases net lifetime earnings by an estimated $1 million. Women are doing comparatively well when it comes to education in their early years in the labor force, and men are doing comparatively badly. Men's economic struggles seem to be having the biggest effect on women without a college degree, whose marriage rates by 45 have plummeted to 52% for those born between 1930 and 1980, according to research by Cornell University. Young men without a degree are struggling so much as a group that there simply aren't enough with steady jobs and earnings for non-college women to date. Men are poor, women most affected. Modern women are no longer tied to their gender role. Birth control has freed them from the prison that is their biology, and they are making their own money, sometimes more than men. They can have it all, they can do anything, they can be anything. While at the same time, men are still expected to be the provider. And more importantly, many men still want to...
There's no reason why that we have to be the provider. I really, like I said, it should be an equal thing, but...
Be the provider. But they can't. And women, though strong and independent, still want men to be the provider.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a...
I honestly, it almost sounds like we really should not have let women have their freedom. That's what it kind of sounds like. But that's not fair. I mean, like, women should have just as much freedom as any other man, but it's causing a cultural problem. Yeah, like I said before, we gotta tear down our culture and rebuild from scratch, because apparently this is not working.
A protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money.
Basically, men are like, we're worried we're not making enough money. And women are like, we're worried men are not making enough money. Hello class, I am Miss On Head. I am substituting for your teacher today. She was arrested for molesting a 12-year-old boy.
Which would never happen. They would not arrest her. They would just say, oh, it's hot, and let her go.
So today we are learning about the graph. This is the growth in productivity versus hourly compensation graph. And you can trace almost everything bad happening in society back to this graph. As you can see, productivity increased while compensation barely grew over the same time period. Notice they tracked very closely up until around 1972. Now, what happened around 1972, class? Well, the top marginal tax rate was reduced from 70% in 1964 to 50% by 1981. The federal minimum wage began to stagnate. Income going to the 1% rose from 9% in the 60s to 16% in 2023. CEOs also went from making 20 times more than the average worker to making 350 times more than the average worker.
So let me get this straight. So so according to this graph, the middle class is making less money than the rich and powerful, which means it's a very unfair amount of budget of money going to the different people. The rich and powerful needs... the rich and powerful needs a kick in the ass. There we go.
Anything else? Anything else happen around 1972? Yes, Jimmy, that is correct. Women joined the workforce around this time, but
I don't think... I want to say that really should not have made a difference, but the numbers do not lie. It's almost as if it is causing a problem, but how and why I do not know.
Don't have to get into that today. The fact is, hard work no longer guarantees success, and the will to work is tied to the fruit.
Yeah, that's the bullshit part I really do not like about life. No matter how hard you work, you don't get any praise out of it, and that's a problem.
Fruits of your labor. And young men are fed up today because 90% of that fruit is rotten. Now, is there some truth to modern young people being lazy? Sure, I guess. Every generation had lazy people. And we do basically live in late-stage mouse utopia, after all. Young people today are faced with two options: revolution or escapism. And a lot of them are choosing escapism. Many have basically given up, but it's not like they didn't try. They tried, and they found out the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, whether it's college, dating, or the job market. And in a way, many young men are kind of choosing revolution. The never-before-seen large shift rightward in young men is a small revolution in a way. They're saying, this isn't working for me, this sucks, I hate this, I want something different. This is also manifesting on the Democrat side in general. The young men that are still voting left are voting further left. You saw this recently in New York City where...
Okay, so this is the first time I heard that people are gathering up for this. Is this still going on? Let me know in the comments.
Zoran Memdani, a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist, won the Democratic primary. Young men are tired of the establishment, left and right. They're tired of the system, and they want to burn it down and start again. They want something that works
that's
for them,
what we need to do.
This is not working for them.
No, it's not.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with 4-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Exactly. Even though I don't know what socialism even is, someone would have to explain that to me. But yeah, if there's something, if there's a side that you think can help with the issue, people are going to turn to that, side. But the problem is, these sides that claim to be helping, that be on, to help us, they're not doing what they're saying, and it kind of feels like we're being used.
Huh. Fox News should hire that guy. There is an entire generation of fighting-aged men who are enraged and feel like they have nothing to live for.
Yeah.
You should probably start caring.
No one's gonna care. That's the problem. People don't give a shit. It's all pride and self-empowerment. They only care about themselves. It's bullshit.
When they saw this airing on Fox News, they saw an angry woman nagging in their faces about how everything wrong in the world is their fault. An all too familiar thing they have been hearing for far too long. But unfortunately for...
The thing is, though, that people don't realize is that men blame themselves for everything that goes wrong as part of, like, some sort of their natural selves. And so when some lady starts nagging at them, especially if it's a bunch of them, like, every day, eventually it gets to the point where it no longer hurts anymore. It's just, yeah, whatever, it's the same blah, 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 blah bullshit. But also, there has to be a tipping point where people are like, you know what, we had enough. Something needs to happen. But the problem is, I'm not seeing that happen. And that's what we need, is we need a tipping point to realize, you know what we have here, we need to change and try to fix the problem. At least try to.
Democrats, nobody under the age of 60 watches Fox News, so this is not really going to...
Just because you're under the age of 60 doesn't mean you feel, you know, the damage to society. And here's the thing, even if you're somebody like me who doesn't really get into politics and things like that, or anything to do with society, well, guess what? It will affect you eventually. So when there's something bad going on in, like, you know, the White House or whatever, it's going to spread like wildfire if something doesn't get solved, if people don't solve the problem. And that's what's going on. There's been an issue with our culture for decades, since like 2004 apparently. So now it's getting to the point where it's basically affecting everybody in the entire country. You know, actually, it's not just the entire country, it's the entire world. Everybody's experiencing some sort of loneliness and, you know, culture issues. It is getting out of control. Something really bad is happening, and we need to find out what this is and figure out how we can fix it.
Have an effect on young men whatsoever. So keep that $20 million. You might still need it, unless we get dragged into another war in the Middle East. If we do get dragged into another war in the Middle East...
We did get dragged off into another war, but, you know, the funny thing is, not a lot of people really cared about it. And I'm actually kind of surprised it didn't, you know, erupt into an even bigger issue. Personally, I'm actually surprised with everything that's going on with our culture and everything, that I'm surprised there hasn't been like a civil war that hasn't broken out, which I'm surprised that hasn't happened. And honestly, I wouldn't want that to happen. Although I will say if it did happen, it would actually make something change, but the issue is that people would get hurt if we broke out into a civil war, which I would not like. But the part I might like about it is that, you know, maybe something might actually change if we broke into a civil war.
Young men might come running back to the Democratic Party. Maybe not even a George Bush II electric boogaloo will have men coming back to the Democratic Party. Hopefully we don't find out. And as I'm editing this right now, a lot of young people, even the...
So where are the ideas right? Okay. I don't know what that word is.
Podcast bros seem pretty upset about the Epstein thing, but we know Democrats won't take advantage of the situation in order to protect the Clintons, so maybe not even this will save them, but we'll see, I guess. Hold on one second.
Back to our normal self.
So that was that video. What do you think of the male loser epidemic? Do you agree with Tommy Lauren? Is it all men's fault? Leave your comments below. I read them all. I am probably...
Okay, so my, So what do I think about the male loser epidemic? Well, first of all, it's not a male loser epidemic. It is a loneliness epidemic. I didn't say male loneliness. I meant loneliness epidemic. Plain just loneliness. Because it's not just men who are facing loneliness. It's also women too. But women are taking it a little more different than men. And, you know... I don't know what's going on or what caused this, per se, but it is a cultural problem. I think it is what's causing it, and we need to fix it. So with that being said, please like, subscribe, and this is Zertuku Zudoku Torch signing out.